Hey everybody, Mr. Bergen here, and this is going to show one person's program. I think this is, let me check, this is DJM from California, and it's a pretty neat exercise 4.4. But I'm really doing this to show the difference between orange data commands and purple block commands, because I've had one or two people who've asked me for more information on that. Okay, so first let's run the program. Okay, so let's see how I do in binary when I click the green flag. What is 5 in binary? That's 101. I click the green, click the check, and I get a little animation of a purple and blue car. What is 4 in binary? 100. And I get the same animation. What is 13 in binary? 1101. And I check it, and now I've got coolness comes on the screen. What is 35 in binary? 385. No, I'm thinking of the 11 trick. What's 35 in binary? 1 in the 32's place. 16, 8, 4, 2, 1. That's 35 in binary. And I've got coolness again. And last question, what's 23 in binary? 16, nothing in the 8, and then 4, 2, 1. And I'll click the check, and I win. And the background changes, and some stick figures come on. Okay, so that's the execution of the program. The counter is the number that's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's where the programmer, DJM, that's where the programmer has something that says when the green flag begins right here, set score to 0. That's because the programmer, DJM, went to data and made a variable called score. Right? So I'll just do one for you. Make a variable called score SB, that's my initials. And the programmer then used the command set score to 0 up top. And notice in the define quiz, purple quiz, it says change score by 1. So that's the orange command. And then over here, when I receive give a treat, and we'll talk about that. Then if score is 1, if score is 5, if score is 4, different things come on. So clarification, the orange command is for making a variable and then setting the variable to 0 when you begin, and then increasing the variable when you get it right. Now, this is the very, very powerful code for defining a quiz. How was this done? The programmer DJM went to more blocks, made a block, which is very different than a variable, called it, I'll call mine quiz SB, and then I'll use options to add 2 numeric inputs. No, not numeric inputs, string inputs for text. One is going to be the question. I'll call it question SB. One is going to be the real answer. I'll call it real answer SB. And now you have this thing, which is called the definition of the block. So the programmer DJM put this over here and then began the programming. And what the programmer did was put these commands right here in the define quiz program. What did DJM do? Switch the backdrop, switch the costume, and then has very simple logic that works for every single question. Ask the question and wait, and then evaluate if the person got it right. So we know about blue answer. That's the response to the question. And the way DJM got this in here was by pulling from this block and putting it in here. So if answer is real answer, then change the score by 1. Otherwise, say wrong, the answer is, and then this pulls down. So a block is way different than a variable. And when you have a block, you're defining something that's going to be for all your questions. So here's the main program. The main program says show the sprite, set the score to 0, and then ask the questions. What is 5 in binary? And notice the question is here, and then the answer is right next to it. And then we have a little twist. After we ask one question, we broadcast give a treat. So this is an attempt to now take the logic from DJM and classify it is the score 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if the score is 1 or 2, then DJM is broadcasting crash. If the score is 3 or 4, then DJM is using broadcast. So broadcast means make some subprogram happen. And I just say to all of you, there's both broadcast, give a treat, and this one sometimes even better is broadcast and wait. Meaning don't go to the next line of code until the give a treat, right, is executed. In this case, we're broadcasting stamp coolness because the programmer has put certain code into the sprite called coolness and the sprite called convertible. Now I'm going to share this program, and then the link I'm going to send you, you can now look at this, see this code, and use it to model your own 4.4. So remember, data was set score after we made the variable, but purple blocks are for defining the block that's going to be the recipient of the quiz, and the quiz is basically in the green flag. So in the green flag, we have the quiz for each of the 5 questions in binary, and in the definition of the block, we have the logic of what happens when each question is asked. The broadcast is to have a bunch of code that happens each time. So after each question is asked, I'm broadcasting give a treat, and that treat then is this code that checks the logic from 1 to 5 based upon the score. And if the logic is a certain something, then broadcast crash or broadcast stamp coolness, which you'll find either in this, the code of when I receive stamp coolness, or when I receive crash. That's when I think we see the animation of the cars crashing. All right? Mr. Bergen signing off. Check this program out, right? You can look at it. You can put some of it in your backpack, and hopefully this video helps. Bye, everybody.